to my channel. Today we're filming another episode of the Lunar Knits Podcast. My name is Lori and I am your host here. This is the second time I'm filming this podcast because yesterday I filmed an entire podcast and I forgot to hit record. So here we are. There was no way I was going to do it yesterday afterwards because I was highly annoyed, but it wasn't a great episode anyways. I feel like it was just really short and I don't know. I wasn't really enjoying that podcast anyway, so I guess it was for the best. Today I set up a mirror behind the camera so I would know if it was recording or not. Because I do not want to have the same issue as yesterday because I would be very upset because a couple of the items that I'm going to show you today, I'm actually taking up to Columbus tomorrow. Yes, I'm taking a trip to Columbus and I'm very excited to see all my friends at the yarn store and another opportunity that I'm hopefully going to be working on. I'm going to be dilly-dallying in that tomorrow as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes as planned and I have a great trip. And I'm just really excited to get myself out of the house a little bit safely, I might add, and have a fun little weekend. So I just really wanted to get this episode filmed today right away so I could take these items to their new home and I would also have a chance to show them to you before I did that. So we're gonna try this again and we're gonna do it the smart way with a mirror behind the camera. And yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling about that. I'm in a bit of a new location today because I really just didn't want to take all of my stuff upstairs. So I'm filming in the bedroom that I'm staying in, which also happens to be my brother's old bedroom. So that's that. I'm not wearing any hand knit items today because I'm actually gonna try a couple of the things on for you so you can get an idea of how they look. And also, I just got home from a job interview, so I'm still dressed up from that. And I need to get this filmed before my mom gets home because she's very loud. So let's get right into it. I do have a beverage today. I feel like a real podcaster now. It's a soda, so it's not coffee or tea, but it gets the job done just the same for me. Leave a comment down below if you guys have ever heard of ski or you've ever had a ski. It's very hard to find, but in my hometown, it's like the drink. This is what everybody always drinks. So I'm kind of addicted when I come home. It's really bad. That's why I move away so often because I will drink those way too much. Anyways, I have a couple of finished objects to show you today. One of which you guys have never seen before. I casted it on and bound off in 7 days. And so you guys have never seen it, but it's finished and it's behind the camera drying as much as it can while I talk about this next item, or this first item, not next item. We haven't even started yet. Okay, so my first finished object is my Wimpy cardi. This is the Wimpy cardi by Veer Valimaki. I have been working on this for way longer than I would like to admit, but it's finally done and it's very cool. So I used the Woolfolk Luft yarn. I did a yarn review on that. If you guys check that out, you'll hear all my thoughts on it. So I won't go too much into detail about the yarn, but I will talk about how I felt about the project and everything. So here is the Wimpy cardi. I'm gonna put it on for you because it's a little hard to see when it's not on. This was a size large, so it's a little bit bigger than I would have made for myself, but here we go. So if you can see, it's kind of got a nice relaxed loungy feel to it. I absolutely love the way this thing fits. It's got this really amazing hemline. Oh, do you see that? That's beautiful. And it has pockets. I will say the pockets are a little shallow. I think they're only like 4-inch pockets. So if you're gonna make this, I would recommend making the pockets a little deeper. And then in the back, it's got this super nice like rounded edge. I love it. It's so soft. This yarn is luxurious. It's a merino blown through a cotton casing. I believe that's what it was. Ooh, sorry. I actually don't even know the color name either because I got this yarn in like a pack and it didn't have any labels on it. So I had to ask her what the yarn type was and she told me, but she didn't tell me the color name. And as you can see, I had to use a different dye lot for the bottom of the sleeve, which was a real bummer because the one thing that this pattern was lacking was the right amount of yardage for yarn. So I had to ask her to send me some more yarn. I ended up broke into the 10th skein of yarn. And it should have only taken 8 skeins according to the pattern. And she sent me 8 skeins. They were all beautiful and they all matched. but then I didn't have enough to do the sleeves. So it took like a ball and then a partial ball of the 10th skein to finish the sleeves. So if you're going to make this, buy more yarn than you think that you need because it's not correct in the pattern. I actually went onto the pattern pages on Ravelry, and a lot of them said that they didn't have enough yarn either. And then Andrea from 614 Knit Studio, who sent me the yarn to knit this, she said that she had heard that the pattern was wrong and she wished that she sent me the extra skeins, but she didn't. But that's okay. It still looks fine. I think she's still really going to enjoy it. This pattern has a ton of ribbing all the way down. Tons of ribbing. I love that feature. It was not fun to knit for me. I kind of got over it after a while, but yeah. And on the sleeve here, there's this really cute like little pearl ridge, which I just think is a fun little detail. And then you kind of have this interesting construction that gives you like this mock raglan area. This was not a raglan increase. I don't think that it was, but the way that it's constructed, it formed like this cool seam, which looks like a raglan, which is really fun. I think that I adjusted the sleeve length just a little bit because Andrea, who I knit this for, is a little on the shorter side like myself. So she always asks for the sleeves to be a little shortened and things like that. So I always make those accommodations for her. But I've talked about this a lot. This is the Wimpy Cardi by Vera Valimaki. Honestly, I probably should have blocked it to be a little bit longer, but that's okay. One of the things that I did want to say about this, I had my mom try it on, and she's a size large, maybe large extra large is what she would normally buy. And we both agreed that it kind of makes her look larger, which isn't like a bad thing, but like the way it hangs off of the front of her, it kind of feels like it makes you look larger because these little front parts stick out. But I think it's a really great lounging sweater. I put this on with a pair of leggings and a bralette to take some pictures, and it looked so cute, and I didn't want to take it off afterwards because it's so soft and beautiful. But I think this yarn is a great alternative to what she recommends in the pattern. However, I think if you want it to not, like if you want more drape, you might want to go down to like a lighter bulky weight yarn or even an Aran weight yarn to get a looser gauge to make it more drapey. Whereas this bulky yarn is kind of, it's tighter, the gauge is a little bit tighter for it. So I think that's why it kind of sticks out a little bit. But I don't honestly think that's a problem. My mom still really liked it and kind of wanted to keep it for herself, but I had to tell her, Mom, this is for somebody else. So I'm gonna take it off really quick and show you guys how well it does drape. Oh, I love it. But if you want to hear more about this yarn, you can click over to my review on it. I think it's the last video that I did, and you can hear more about it. But that's the Wimpy Cardi by Vera Valimaki. I'm so glad to have it done. I can't wait to hand deliver it tomorrow to the yarn store and probably get some yarn while I'm there, let's be honest. But that's my first finished object. Let me go ahead and grab the next finished object that I have for you. So this next finished object is also a sample knit for 614 Knit Studio, and I sample knit the Throwover by Andrea Mallory. I think I made the size 46-inch bust, so that is what size it is in comparison to me. And I might attempt to put this on for you guys as well. It is still a little damp. I finished this yesterday and it's been blocking, but I don't think things in this house dry very quickly. So I'm going to just throw it on really quickly and then I'll take it off and lay it back on blocking mats. But here is the Throwover. Oh, it's so cute. It's like baggy on me, which is really, it's so nice. Let me get close here. Again, this is still blocking, so it's got to dry up so it squeezes up the color work a little bit better, but it's still decently wet. But I just want you guys to be able to see it. It's so nice. So I was able to, I'm gonna take it off so I can lay it back down, but I was able to knit this in 7 days. So I definitely would recommend this pattern to you if you're a beginning knitter with like sweaters or you want to try some color work. I definitely think an adventurous beginner would have no problem with this color work. Even like a very beginner who's not very adventurous, because there's no float catching. It's straightforward. It's a great pattern. Very easy, very quick. This is knit with worsted weight yarn, so It's a very speedy one. So with this pattern, I did extend the body by an inch or two, and then I shortened the sleeves by an inch. So that was just per Andrea's request. But here is the finished sweater. The green yarn is a yarn that I'm actually doing a review for, so there will be a video coming for that. It is the Hudson and West Co. Forge yarn. And this is 70% US Merino, 30% US Corriedale, and it's a worsted weight yarn. The green color is in the colorway Juniper. And then I also used the same yarn type for this purple here. The purple color is also the Forge yarn, and it's in the colorway Jam. So I still have basically a whole skein of that left. This is a great project for those worsted weight scraps you have lying around because you hardly use any of the contrasting colors. It's ridiculous how much I have left. And then I have no idea what the other two colors are. They were just mystery little scraps that she had lying around, but they look like this. I imagine that there's some kind of wool, but I also don't think that they were worsted weight. I think they were a little bit thinner than the worsted weight because it did give me a little bit of inconsistency in the color work, but I think when it dries, those holes will close up a little bit, those little gaps, and I don't even know if you can tell. Also, sorry, the air conditioning just kicked on. I don't know if you can hear that. And while I'm still holding it up, it has 2x2 ribbing on the collar, on the bottom, and on the cuffs, and I really like that. I did have a little bit of color difference in the sleeve, and I'll talk a little bit about that in the yarn review video because it was really weird. But this sleeve was the same. They were the same batch, so I don't know why they were different colors, but whatever. This was such a fun knit. I really enjoyed it. The color work was very easy. And I'm a flicker, so color work can tend to be annoying because I haven't exactly found a way to hold two colors at once, but it was okay. There's also a couple rows that have 3 colors, I believe. I think so. Yeah, there's a couple rounds that do have 3 colors going through, but they're only 6 stitch repeats, so not a problem at all. Like, seriously, I would not even stress about that at all. The next project I'm going to show you guys, that is a project that I would definitely be a little stressed out about. But it's so squishy. I'm just grabbing my boobs now. Okay, let me go ahead and lay this back down so it can dry and I don't ruin it anymore. So I would definitely recommend that pattern to anyone wanting to knit something and get a satisfaction very quickly because seriously, it knit up extremely fast. And I would probably knit one for myself, honestly. I don't have a whole lot of worsted scraps laying around, so it might be like a future project because I wouldn't want to buy any extra skeins, but I would definitely knit one for myself in the future. Also, I want to say one thing. Sample knitting is so much fun because I get to knit things in color combinations I would never, ever put together. Like this one right here, when I opened it in the mail, when I first got it, I opened it and I saw what she wanted me to knit with it, and I was just like, that's so ugly. Like, I don't know how she thought to put these colors together, but they actually work really well together, and I was so like, what the heck? And even I sent her a picture and she was like, wow, those worked out better than I thought they would. So it's really fun to get to try color combinations I would never use, and it inspires me for projects that I want to make for myself in the future. So those were my finished objects this week. I am so proud of myself. I got a lot of knitting done. I finished 2 sleeves on that sweater and an entire sweater on the other one. So that's pretty good, I think. So that's 2 of the 3 sample knits that I've been working on, and as soon as I finish the other one, I don't think I'm going to sign up for any more anytime soon because I have a ton of yarn that I want to knit for myself. I have some fun summer yarns that I want to try out and do some reviews on and make myself some summer tops. So that's next on my list for sure. But I am still working on one sample knit. It's living in this giant bag along with a bunch of other stuff. Did you hear that? Like, that was solid. But I am working on the Once in Floral sweater by Maxim Sear for Handmade Home Fibers, who just changed their name to Solrella Yarns, which is so exciting. It kind of goes along with her other platform, which I think is great. But you may know them as Handmade Home Fibers, the best. And here it is. I've done a lot of work on this since you guys have seen it last. I'm very proud of myself. Let me give you a little bit of a close-up. The color work looks a little bit bumpy, but a good blocking will do that justice. But it's also superwash yarn, so it just is a little bit bumpy. But it's a very low contrasting color work sweater. And if you can see this little progress keeper right there, it's a bumblebee. I thought it looked so cute with the flowers on here, but that's by Twill Imprint. And that's marking where I was the last time I talked to you guys. So I finished the color work, split for the sleeves, and I've done about 6 or 7 inches on the body, which I'm proud of myself on that because this color work was, whoo, guys. There's some areas where you have to use 3 colors, and then while you're using 3 colors, you have to catch some floats, and while you're catching floats, you also have to increase, and it was a lot going on. I would not recommend this for a beginner into color work. I think you should progress into this one a little bit. But if you like a challenge, definitely go ahead and go for it. It is fingering weight, so it's gonna take you a little bit of time, but with patience, you can have some beautiful color work, and I love it. I have no idea what the colorway names are. This was from her spring botanical collection, and you can no longer get that. It was a pre-order, but she's having her colorways knit up into samples, and I'm knitting this sweater for her. So I am using helical knitting on the body because this is a very variegated yarn. You can see this one's a little bit darker than this one. And I am so sorry. I'm like looking in the mirror to make sure I'm on the camera, and that's really annoying. I'm gonna try to look at you guys. And this is what I had left of the contrasting colors. The pink one here was for the flowers, and this yellowy cream one was for the background. So you do have a decent amount of yarn left. You would probably need like half a 50 gram skein of fingering weight yarn for the color work. You could definitely get away with if you were looking in your stash. I'm knitting the size medium. I don't know what the bust circumference of that is, probably somewhere in the 40 range. And it's looking really good. I think my gauge is pretty spot on. I've been measuring here and there, and I am pretty much spot on, so it should come out great. But here's the variegation. Again, I am alternating skeins on the body, so it's looking really nice. I really like that. So this sweater is worked from the top down. You cast on, and then I am going to go back later and pick up these stitches and do the neckline. And then I'll pick up for the sleeves like normal, and then I think there's just a little bit of ribbing on the bottom. It's a very basic sweater after the color work. And then the short rows are worked after the color work. So that was one of the things that I did not like, because you have a ton of stitches on your needles, so you have to do your short rows with all of those stitches instead of like at the beginning where there's not so many stitches for the neck. So there's a lot of purling involved, but you know, we survived. And you can kind of tell like right here, I think the line for the short rows, which is like the first time that I've ever done short rows after the color work like that, I think. So that's interesting. I can't wait to see how it blocks out and looks afterwards. But I don't have too much else to say about this. It's a basic color work yoke with some stockinette body and ribbing, and that's that. I can't wait to get this done so I can focus on some summer projects for myself. I'm really resisting the urge to cast on and wind up yarn because I know that I will put this off, and I really need to get this done. So hopefully by the next podcast, that will be a finished object as well. That's my goal. All right, and I have one more work in progress to talk about, and it's living in my Tanny Casey bag here, and it is my Turtledove by Espostrico. So here we go. I've actually put quite a bit of work in on this as well. I feel like I did a ton of knitting, although it's been like 3 weeks now almost, I think, since my last podcast. My schedule got a little off because I filmed like on a Monday or Tuesday last time instead of a Thursday, and then I tried to film yesterday, but then the video didn't record, and now I have a lot of knitting to show you. So this is the Turtledove, and I can actually try this on for you too because it's on some really long needles because I tried it on last night because I thought it looked a little small. Boop. But as soon as I put it on a longer needle, I realized that it wasn't small at all. So here we go. This is the Turtledove by Espostrico. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and this is where I'm at right now. I think the fit is really cool. I do think that I like the neck roll the neckband rolled down like this a little bit more, but it's written to be, or like the pattern is supposed to be up like this. I also think that I knit an inch less than the pattern called for. And then it has like this longer raglan yoke and then just a split hem at the end. So I'm gonna knit like 6 inches and then it's a split hem at the bottom with some twisted ribbing to match the collar here. And this is where I was last time. I had not even split for sleeves. So I finished the raglan, split for the sleeves, and I've done about 4 inches on the body, I think. So this is what it looks like not on a body, if you guys are curious. It's a very, very fun little quick project. I'm using Knit Picks' Wonder Fluff. This is left over from my rug sweater, and then I tried to knit a sweater that I was designing, which I didn't like, so I ripped it apart, which is why I have all these little balls here. I ripped it apart, and I'm making the Turtledove because I put it on my Ravelry favorites forever ago, and then I see Tracy from the Grocery Girls always wearing her Paloma, which is pretty much the same thing as this, and I am obsessed. So one of the things about the sweater, I definitely got confused on the short row section. I've done short rows a lot, so I thought it would be basic in my mind, but I definitely think I messed them up, which doesn't matter because you don't have to do the short rows in this pattern. They're optional. I think I did those wrong, but I don't think it's messing up the fit any, but it does kind of bunch up here when you put it on. But when I was watching the Grocery Girls podcast last time, Tracy's actually did that same thing. So I think it's just part of the design. But I don't have too much to say about this. I'm knitting it on 6mm Leica needles, and I'm just moving and grooving. I think that it calls for a 6.5mm or 7mm actually. I don't know, but I'm doing that. It's giving me a really nice loose gauge, which is fun because the last sweater I knit with this yarn was a tighter gauge. So the yarn is a little bit thicker and denser, but this is really flowy. It's gonna block out like a dream because it's already a cloud. I love it. So this is a alpaca yarn, a baby alpaca yarn. So if you guys are in the market for a kind of a fuzzier, bulky, this is a bulky weight yarn, a bulky weight sweater, and it's pretty lightweight, like this is a really light material, then I would definitely recommend this yarn. Unless you're like sensitive to like woolier wools and alpacas, it could probably be pretty itchy on somebody that is more sensitive, but I don't mind it. The itchier the better, I guess. I don't know. I just like all yarns, all wools, and I'll wear them even if they make me itchy. Does anybody else do that? Or is that just me? I don't know. So that's all I have been working on this week. Honestly, I have just been knitting as much as I can to get these sweaters done because I am going to go to Columbus this weekend, like I mentioned, and I want to make sure I had those done. I want to get this other sample knit done because I really want to test out some linen yarns and some cotton yarns and all the good summer yarns. So if you guys have any summer top pattern recommendations, please leave me a comment down below. I'm having the hardest time choosing what tops to make. I have this beautiful like pumpkin colored yarn. I think it's a linen silk. I think it's linen silk blend from Sweet Georgia that I really want to use because it's my color. I love that color so much, and I think it's gonna look so great in a summer top. And then I also have a linen cotton blend yarn that I really want to try out. I was gonna make a tenya, but I'm not sure if that's what I want to do anymore, so we're just trying to figure it out before I finish these projects so I can just jump right into them. Also, Jessie May over on Instagram, Jessie May Designs, she is having another mystery knit along starting tomorrow actually. It's gonna be a free one, so the pattern has not been tested and she's just releasing it as a free, untested pattern for everybody to do, and I'm very excited to see what it is and to knit it. It's a fingering weight tank top of some sort, so if you guys are interested in that, check out Jessie May. Yeah, and we can do it together because her patterns are great. They knit up so fast, and then you have a cute summer top afterwards. So I think that's all I have to talk about today. Now I'm just rambling, and this is probably a short podcast, but I hope you guys enjoyed it anyways. Be sure to leave me a comment down below so we can chat. Hit that like button if you liked the video, and if you didn't, I guess give it a thumbs down. And hit the subscribe button for more videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!